Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter, Billy.
Hi, I'm over here now.
And here's where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. We love the fall, spooky season, leaves falling, curling up with a spooky book under a blanket. Yes, please. And obviously, we love spooky board games. So we thought we'd share some board game movie pairings. It's like wine and cheese, but Netflix and cardboard, or Amazon and minis, or Hulu and I don't know, just roll with it. These aren't all our favorite movies or games, and we try to avoid games that are just IPs, although some are so close they might as well be. But they're just movies and games that go together, remind us of each other. Before we get started, I want to offer one caveat. A spooky game night requires something that doesn't come in a box. It requires a group that's willing to go all in on spooky atmosphere. A group that won't break that spell, but will kind of contribute to the story being told. Max over at Table Knots pointed out in a video that it isn't the game that makes a perfect game night. It's the group. And sometimes it's really hard to find that group, but when you do, it's magic. And that's definitely true for creating some spooky fun. Let's start with one that might as well just be an IP, but we're going to count it anyway, and that's Who Goes There?
Well, actually, that is the name of the book that the movie was based on.
Okay, yeah. Oh, for this, we're going to call it Based on the Movie The Thing. We have the all-in giant box of Who Goes There that we backed on Kickstarter. All the minis, all the upgrades, and all the unplayed sadness of a game that requires a higher player count than we generally have. And then we bought the second edition upgrade, and no, we haven't played that one either. Just like the movie, this is a story of growing paranoia. This is one of Billy's all-time favorites, a John Carpenter classic movie. I'd love to have everyone around the table scared and tense and paranoid. That would be a perfect game night for me. As far as an immersive experience, I find that games that have you constantly guessing whether opponents are on your side or not, or in this case, infected or not, are some of the most immersive if you get the right group together. You need that group who's willing to go all in on storytelling, as well as a group who doesn't mind spending a long session learning this one. I still have high hopes of scaring people one day in the near future.
Eventually.
Yeah, but until then, we could watch the movie again.
Definitely.
The next movie is one of the movies that scared me the most the first time I saw it. Not that one. And that's The Ring. This movie just creeped me the out. We wound up watching this on VHS the first time, which only made it worse. And I know that the image of her crawling out of the TV is just another horror movie cliche now, because it's been spoofed so often. But the first time I saw it was crazy scary. The game that brings this back to me is a small box game called Hako Onna. That's how you say it. I don't know if that's how you say it. A friend of ours bought this at PAX Unplugged a few years ago, and we kind of cringed. We'd never heard of it, and it didn't look like something we would like. But when you have company, you play what they want to play, and he wanted to play the new game he just bought. This game is fun and crazy spooky. Check out this flavor text. I lived with my father after mother left. My father was nice, gave me nice things. Then scary men arrived. My father, in a panic, pushed me down into a way too small box. I heard my bones snap, but I dared not scream. I heard angry voices, and then father never came back. I was alone. This was a long time ago, and I'm not alone all the time anymore. Sometimes people come to play. I like to play hide and seek. And when I'm tired of that, I eat. Seriously? This is a hidden movement game with the Hako Onna hiding and potentially eating the visitors to her house. There are closets and cupboards to hide in, and you have to move silently through the house. On your turn, you add a noise disc to the stack. If they tumble, then you've made a noise and the Hako Onna takes a turn. There's tile exploration, hidden movement, dexterity, even diary cards to tell a story as you go. Each player that falls to the Hako Onna becomes a ghost and a threat to all the other players until the end. You can win by escaping after figuring out the combination to a secret safe to get the key, finding Hako Onna's weakness and defeating her, and the weakness varies game to game, or giving her rest by finding her Mary doll and her bones. Is this game a gimmick? Yeah, almost definitely. Is it fun? Definitely. While The Ring was one of the most recent movies to scare me, the movie that will forever be my scariest shush, is the one that I saw while I was staying away from home when I was 8 years old. To be fair, no one knew I was watching. I snuck out of bed and I was hiding at the top of the stairs while people watched down in the living room. This movie, called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, was made for TV. But the taglines were, "Can you see them, Sally? Hiding in the shadows? They're alive, Sally. They want you to be one of them when the lights go out. Do you want to play with them, Sally?" Ah! There was a remake of this a few years back with Guy Pearce, and I took the whole family. Apparently, they didn't think it was scary.
It was very good, though.
No, and they just laughed at me through the whole movie. So I brought them home, and I found a video of the original. It might not have been that scary, but those little onion people voices still creep me out.
No.
And the idea of them scurrying about in the walls in the tiny spaces of the house is scary.
The whole movie only took 2 weeks for all of production.
It's not the highest quality movie ever. The little monsters' suits were so awful that you could see the zippers, but they are responsible for my fear of things attacking my ankles. Anyway, the game that brings this scariness back for me is one of our newest spooky games, and that's The Night Cage. You're trapped in an unnaturally dark labyrinth with walls closing in on you and only a dim candle to light your way. But you aren't alone in that small, scary space. There are monsters in there with you. And like the onion people in my nightmares, they are afraid of the light. The Night Cage is a co-op tile placement game where your tiles are limited to only what can be lit with your candle. And you need to work together to escape. As time runs out and the candles dim, this feels as spooky as knowing those little onion people are crawling around the small spaces under the house. This game is really thematic, and as the tiles run out, they're actually in a holder shaped like a candle, so it looks like your candle is melting down, right? And the monsters are called wax eaters, and they if a monster attacks you, you lose 3 tiles, so you lose that much wax out of your candle. Okay, now I'm all creeped out thinking about the onion people again. No more Night Cage. Let's move to something a little less scary and a little more fun, Halloween spooky. The next game I want to talk about is Broom Service, a charming pick up and deliver game with witch meeples. I saw this game on Instagram years before I managed to find a copy and spent every convention for years just going booth to booth and asking them if they had a copy.
I can verify that.
Of this game. I knew we were gonna love this one. You are witches, sometimes brave and other times cowardly, competing to deliver the most potions through the land. I was trying to connect this to one of my favorite fun witchy movies, like Practical Magic. You know, she makes like lotions, potions, or Hocus Pocus. But apparently that doesn't work, and I'm very, very wrong.
Very clearly Kiki's Delivery Service. Like, it's a witch delivering things on a broom.
Yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service is apparently almost exactly this game, but I will never know, because I will most likely never watch that movie.
Boo.
This game is just good, spooky fun with limited action selection, and you have to try to declare yourself a brave little witch while everyone else at the table is just waiting to slap their card down and tell you that you aren't. It's a game designed by Andreas Pelikan and Alexander Pfister, and while it's good fall fun, we love this one year-round. The next movie pairing is Tiny Epic Zombies with Dawn of the Dead. Sure, there are better zombie movies out there, and honestly, worse, more fun zombie movies out there, but do they take place in a mall? Tiny Epic Zombies is a co-op game where the zombies are attacking you and you work together to gather supplies and weapons and defeat the zombies. Or you can play competitively with one player controlling all the zombies. Or you can play in a competitive free-for-all with a game-controlled field full of zombies. Or you can take your chances and go it alone playing solo. Your meeples can even jump on a motorcycle to try and get away. We almost passed on this one thinking we had too many Tiny Epic games and that we were over zombies. And well, we would have been wrong. And Dawn of the Dead, a George Romero zombie movie, that's some pretty good undead fun. Although, I prefer my zombies riff track style, and a bit more classic, like Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara. And now we cheat a tiny bit. I said we wouldn't use a game based on an IP.
And it's not an IP. It's many IPs.
It's many, so that's a loophole, right? The next game is Horrified. And while this is one of our favorites with its gorgeous board and classic Universal horror movie characters, it's really just an excuse to pair it up with our traditional Halloween night movie, Young Frankenstein. Just like the game Horrified, Young Frankenstein is a love letter to old Universal monster movies. It's to horror movies what Galaxy Quest is to Star Trek. Young Frankenstein is not only our traditional movie to watch on Halloween night, but also one of my top 5 all-time movies. Gene Wilder, Madeline Kahn, Marty Feldman, and of course, Cloris Leachman, whose signed framed photo from Young Frankenstein hangs on the wall in my office. We quote this movie constantly, especially when playing Horrified. Horrified is a co-op game where you race through the town to defeat combinations of classic movie monsters. It's a monster mash up, if you...
He did an Irish time.
That was terrible.
It's a typical co-op game that has you working together to pick up and deliver items to defeat the bad guys. But the theme makes it feel like so much more than that. We can't wait for the new American Monsters version.
I'm so excited to see the Jersey Devil in a game. It gets so little representation in media, and the model looks so cool. I can't wait to paint it.
Yay, New Jersey. While we love a good scary movie that will keep us up late at night with the covers over our head, my default spooky season is a little more spooky and a little less scary. However, we do love the classics. Which leads us to our last pairing. Have you ever noticed where we record? Have you ever watched Amityville Horror? That's your last pairing. Second star to the left and Amityville Horror. Happy spooky season. I hope everyone is enjoying playing lots of spooky games. Let us know in the comments what your favorite spooky games and movies are. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see,
Or if you want to keep watching until we get one right,
then please like, subscribe, and share. As always, open tables, open minds, and play yourselves.
bark, bark, bark.
Down.
Ray Romano's classic movie.
Everybody loves Raymond, the zombie.
I won't watch that though.
I will. Well, it's the Young Frankenstein guys in Everybody Loves Raymond anyway. But no, the Ritz.
Spooky lightning.